Welcome to the Bookmap Live Order Flow Advanced Analysis webinar. Risk disclaimer: trading equities and futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, well, let's jump into Bookmap here. But let's take a look at some higher time frames to begin with and just outline bigger picture stuff here. We're looking at a 30-minute chart here on the NASDAQ. We can see the pretty big move here to the downside, and then we've just been going back and forth in this range here, and we are now actually today you can see that we breached a low here. These are lines that we had drawn in quite a while ago, to be honest. So haven't touched them. They've been in here for a while. Here's an hour chart, you can see that we're looking around this swing down here, and didn't go below it here at like 60.52, but instead we have popped back up. Now we went below the low from yesterday, as you can see here, and then we've come right back up, and looks like we want to come back up and charge into maybe, well, it's kind of hard to say, but looking around this the 88, 90 area here, we have the figure up here at 6100, so maybe we get even a return back into that area. So all these traders that are short, maybe we'll see a nice little squeeze to the upside into that the figure up here. Okay, so that's a possible scenario here, and let's take a look at Bookmap. Okay. All right, zoomed out here, here's our 9:30 open. You can see the volume really picks up, and the volume does pick up. Now, this is something that I wanted to show. I showed in the previous webinar at 10:30, but I'm using Rhythmic data feed here, and we can see all liquidity. It's the limit order book is really not limited, it's unlimited. So we can see all levels, and all levels are live. So we can see that high liquidity was already here for quite a while before 9:30, and then they actually, we witnessed it or looked at it earlier, they actually pulled the last minute here. We went down below it though, and then we saw the large trades taking place down here. It looks like some good absorption, and then we see the buyers stepped in and went above the structure here, and we've been trending ever since. Okay, and now we are above the high from 9:30 here. Okay, or the overnight session, this little overnight session here. All right. Okay, well, so my point is here that the having some of the data feeds now like CQG and Rhythmic offer complete depth of market, not just 10 on the bid and the offer. All right, if you can get it, try to get it, because it is an advantage. So you can see here the COB column, current order book. We can see the all of these levels here. If we see contracts come in up at these levels, we'll see it here in the book. Okay, so like 30 price levels away, it's all live. Okay, like this down here, we just saw that update at 82. Okay, that's more than 10 away. So anyway, that's the advantage, and it's similar to the to stocks. I mean, it's really nice to see this. If we look at Apple, look at all the high liquidity that comes in. This is for that DX feed, from Dev Experts, connecting to NASDAQ Total View. Well, look at all this liquidity. I mean, we see that they came in here before 9:30. Okay, price, it opened up down here, went right to the liquidity, right back down to the low, right back up, and was absorbed or traded through the high liquidity here, but didn't reach this area up here. Okay, so understanding the context of the bigger picture of the liquidity is something that Bookmap can show you, especially with the unlimited book, okay, or the having the complete depth of market. all right? Because all of these areas are going to be live. So as soon as traders start to layer in at an area, you'll see it. And that's really nice transparency, okay? So this DX feed has it, Rhythmic has it, and CQG has it. I'm sure others will follow, but I just wanted to mention that to you guys so that you are aware of it. Okay, so what do we see now? All right, well, we just went above the swing here. Immediately, we can start to look at maybe some ranges here and build out some trend lines. Okay, so and what am I doing here? I'm looking for value, okay, of this instrument in a range. Okay, usually this auction market theory is covered really nicely in a range that's like this down here. Okay, and we understand that responsive sellers, they'll be up at the top of the range, looking to sell it back into value in the middle of the range down here, right? And then responsive buyers will be down at the ends of the range here and want to trade it right back in, all right? Looking for it to return to value, all right? Now, we're seeing the same thing here, but in a diagonal range, and that's in this trending environment here, okay? So we can start to understand now what these trend lines might mean, or this channel here, okay, and why it's significant. It's really understanding value, and it's understanding where traders might think that it's overvalued in this area here. Well, you might find some sellers, and indeed we did, okay, and traded back down, and the same here, okay. So anyway, that's we're taking a look at that. We can even get a little more aggressive here. Okay, now these won't hold quite as nicely, but it is still valid at this point. So just take a look here, and we can see that we kind of have a more aggressive trend line here. And maybe we'll see more aggressive behavior to the upside here, right? Okay, so that's a little bit of auction market theory in a trending environment. We covered it the other day as well, but we can see it pretty clearly here. And now let's get an understanding of the current order book. Right, so this is the current market window here, as we can see, and we want to understand the current configuration of the book. And what do I mean by that? Well, the majority of the liquidity. Okay, where are they? Where do they want to deal? And we can see pretty interested traders down at 81 through 83. Okay, on the offer, they're up here around this 87 level. And we're just currently channeling between that area here. Okay, so that's the current configuration of the limit order book. And that's where the market can trade. And it's an important part to first identify. The second thing to identify is their behavior, right? Do they really want to trade in these areas? Are they pulling, or are they adding into the book? If they're pulling, where are they pulling to? Are they adding down below? And they have no intent to trade here on the bid at 83, or this 82 3/4 as well. Or are they just staying in the book up here? Okay, so we can start to understand the auction and the participants in this auction and their intent to trade. Okay, so these guys that were up here around this 86 3/4, well, we just got our answer. Okay, do they want to trade? And the answer is no. They pulled. All right, but they're up here at 88 instead. Okay, now look at them here at 83. Okay, getting a little more aggressive, pulling from here down to 82 and adding in at 83. Okay, so we're still channeling here, but now we're finding some aggressive buyers coming in. Okay, and let's see if perhaps we can get up to that 88 level up here. Okay, if those buyers are reaching for that area here. else, we're just right in the middle between this 88 and 83, as well as right in the middle of our channel that we just drew. Okay. All right. What about the transactions? Where have the transactions taken place? Okay. Well, we can see the aggressive buying here, pulling price up to new highs, okay, that we just made for the session. Yeah, I mean, we see these points of exhaustion down here in the trend as well. Okay. In fact, we could probably draw another trend line right here, and I'm sure traders will react to it. But I just kind of keeping a bigger picture outlook here. We'll just draw it in just for kicks and see if we get a reaction at this area here. Okay. It's getting close. Something's going to happen here. So we'll see. Now, all sorts of scenarios can develop here. We're going to see some sort of battle here, I imagine. Buyers or sellers, a failed auction down below it here. I mean, we're still bullish here. Even if we do go below this swing here, we're still in this uptrend. Okay, we need to get down below, and we need to see significant volume trade down below here at this 83 1/4 area. And you can see we clearly exhausted out here earlier. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this trend line here is we didn't really put much faith into it anyway, but didn't get too much of a reaction either. Okay, though we probably will off of this one here. Okay, so we went down below the swing, or no, we didn't actually. We were a tick away. Okay. And a little selling took place here, not much. Okay, now we looks like we exhausted out here. Okay, now look for the buyers to step in. Okay, let's see if we see the buyers. If we can get maybe a tick higher here at 85, we'll start to see some buyers step in. Okay, now other scenario here is if we see more selling here, okay, and we're seeing the selling start to come in again here at this area. So the exhaustion here was starting to look good, but I wanted to see follow through on the buyers. Now look what occurred. The other scenario occurred. High liquidity at 85, okay, 87 contracts here, and more selling taking place. Okay, so we're going lower. All right. That's the second scenario that could have played out, and that's what did play out. All right. So now we are below this more aggressive trend line, okay, and we're coming right back up to the backside of it now too, okay. So okay, and these guys pulled here at 85. All right, now the buyers can take control here if they want, right, and we can come up into these higher highs up here. This would be a failed auction down here. Okay, so it auctioned down lower, but it came right back up into this range. Okay, and let's see if we can get the aggressive buyers here to pull it above, let's say maybe this 85 level. We're already above it, so yeah, I think we're going to test maybe the 88 level up here. Let's see if the buyers can get aggressive here and pull us up into 80, 88, and maybe 89 as well. Okay. Well, this is one of those things. I mean, it's one of these scenarios that we look for. Why was I thinking around this 85 level? Well, our POC was here earlier. It's not now. It's up a little higher, so it's moving just for this trading range. So we need to see more volume trade up above it and accept above it, and then we have that potential to trade up into the higher highs here. Okay. Sellers come right back in though. So we're back down. All right. So yeah, usually that fight for the POC, that point of control, the most traded area here. You know, if we see more volume trading above it, we usually hold, and then we'll see that test up into 88. Okay. This scenario didn't play out. Okay, but we have exhaustion here as well, right? Okay, let's take a look at something else here, and maybe we have a revaluation of what's going on. Okay, but still fits into our bigger trend line channel that you see here. Okay, and you can see the liquidity down in this area here. So yeah, we may break here. We may break below and then and trade into this area here. Maybe we'll see a lot of absorption, and then we'll see if we accept or reject. But I imagine that we'll find some buyers down in these areas for sure, and then we'd probably trade back up at least until where we broke from here around 83, and then potentially higher too. Okay. Some other things pretty interesting to see that noticed over here. If I zoom into this area here, now where was it? Was it there? And we can start to see some algorithmic activity take place here. Yeah, I'm going to need to adjust the heat map for this. Okay, not the clearest example, but it's something that we look for, and you can see it on the charts. This is kind of like a you can see higher liquidity here, lowers it a tick or two. It's the same player that's and this is called an ignition algo. They are chasing after price here. Now, is their game to skew the auction to get it down in these lower areas to get filled, their position filled down in these areas? Well, if that's the case, then this is illegal practice, but you will see this kind of behavior in Bookmap. In fact, try to find a better example, but usually see it when it's a little bit thinner and we see less liquidity, because then they'll stick out a lot easier. But this is the kind of stuff that you can see all the time in Bookmap, and you know, we can see this here. There's a minute of data between each vertical dotted line here. So I mean, just to see this kind of algorithmic activity, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to look at the microsecond levels here. I mean, we're still seeing it looking at a 1 minute chart. Okay, all right. Well, let's see if the buyers now, we can maybe we got this new trend line up here, and so look, let's see if we can get up to 86. Okay, note the selling in this area here at 83. And let me bring up the black cutoff a little bit. Okay, and bring up my white cutoff as well. Maybe a large size. Okay, all right, that looks a little bit better. Okay, all right. Well, let's see if we can get up here around this 86. And I'm just really curious here. And one of the scenarios that we're looking for here is them to maybe lift or raise the bid into some of these areas here. They're not doing it right now. Okay, and then we'd be looking for aggressive market buy volume to take price up into maybe this area here at 86. Okay, well, that exhaustion that I was looking for earlier was right around this area here, and we did see it, right? But then the sellers, they came in. The buyers could have taken price here further to the upside, but they didn't. And then we saw these guys in here come in more aggressively here at this 84.25. Okay. Yeah, Nick, I'm going through exactly actually what you're asking for. What might offer a potential trade, and start to anticipate some of the price movements here. So it really depends on the way that you trade. I mean, I'm showing you a few different things. I'm showing you these lines here and valuations within a structure, and we're looking to see if that structure is going to hold. We're looking for, at the bottom of some of these structures here, we're looking for some areas of exhaustion, for example. So we come down to an area here, and you see some exhaustion, and then just you can take a trade here if you like, right? Now that's a little risky. It would be better to wait to see some more aggressive volume on the buy side pick up here, and then look for a pullback. Okay, and so you'd be entering maybe around this area here. All right, or you can take the risk. I mean, if you're looking at some of these areas here and you want to take the risk, but just note that it can charge down here pretty quickly if there's just still more supply. As well, let me answer your question a different way. So we put together our educational course, okay, right here. So go to the playlist. I can put this into the chat for you guys. Okay, and what you're asking for, Nick, is covered in part 3. Okay, so Nick is looking for formulating a trade execution, and it's definitely covered here in part 3. So part 1, we go through market mechanics, and this is a really important part. It's perhaps for a lot of you it's very simple. Perhaps for a lot of you, even veteran traders, perhaps you are not aware of some of the aspects that we cover in the mechanics. Okay, so looking for a sweeping of the limit order book, taking all liquidity at price levels all the way through up to a new range, for example, or looking at a skew in the limit order book that allows price to drop very quickly without any trading taking place, or very little trading taking place. Now, part 2 is going to go through understanding those basic market mechanics within a structure. part 3 starts to go through understanding strategies and setups within the structure. And then part 4, it gets into advanced features, looking at some of the maybe icebergs at specific levels, okay? Or maybe looking at imbalances in the book, or the or volume, or maybe you're looking at large lot tracker, okay? Now this looks poised here to break to the downside. I mean, we can see that we just can't get up here. There's no buying. We're totally exhausting out on the buy side here, but we're still kind of in this range here. It does look like it, you know, just looking at this structure, it looks like it wants to come down into this, yeah, this 82 level for sure, okay? Yeah, you're welcome, Nick. Okay, now that's just one. That's just one aspect here. You know, that sweeping of the limit order book and then a return back to where we traded from. You know, I mean, you see this all over the chart, and this is another potential strategy. And maybe this style fits you better. So, for example, look at this area here, and let me bring up the dot size a bit more. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about here. We're in a range, okay? Here's a sweep of the limit order book. This is what it looks like. Now, there's some selling in here too, but the concept is the same. Very aggressive buying. They're taking everything at these price levels. There's 60 contracts, there's 80 contracts, whatever, they'll buy them. And they go to the next level and they buy all those, and they go to the next level. It happens very quickly, and you can see we broke out of this range, right? And then the buyers kind of we came up into areas of high liquidity here and here, okay? They were absorbed up here, and we get a pullback, okay? This is what I'm talking about on the pullback. Okay, we get actually a few different pullbacks here and here, so you get a couple chances to get in. Okay, so if this style fits you better, then this is an excellent strategy. Okay, you'll see it all the time. Now, you know, there's the potential that this auction may fail, okay, and then come back down. But you can place your stop up here very aggressively, you know, so before it gets into the range. And then what you're looking for is this, right? And note that, you know, there's not a lot of contracts that trade down here. So even if you see the breakout like here and you place your limit order immediately afterwards, you're probably still going to be, you know, near the end of the line. So you may need to get in here with a buy stop or a market buy order and pay up the spread to get into this position here, okay? But you can see that these, you know, it's a beautiful strategy, and we see it all the time. It's just how the market works. Let's zoom back and look at our range and what's going on here. Well, here we go. I mean, this is it took a while here. You know, in fact, it was looking pretty good. It's kind of hard to read today. It was looking pretty good to trade this 82 level here, just because we couldn't even get up into you know, to test this little range here, right? So now we've broken it, okay? And let me show you what I mean here, okay? So here's our trend line. Here's the break of it, and then you see the buying taking place up here, okay? We're also breaking out of, I know this is getting messy, but this is a little structural area right here. Okay, this is what I was looking for earlier. We didn't get it, it failed. We were looking for more volume trading up above in this area here. Okay, sweeping of that book. Okay, and now we want to see the buyers follow through. Okay, maybe we'll find some more buyers right around here where it's coming down to retest. All right, this is getting kind of complex here, so let's clear our drawing. And that simplifies it. So here's that same phenomena, all right, that we were looking for. Okay, microstructure broken and more aggressive volume here. Okay, here's our pullback, pretty deep pullback. So I don't like it. I don't trust it, to be honest. The reason being is we're looking for more clarity. And what I mean by that is this kind of volume here. Nice big transactions taking place. Okay, pulling price up. We're not getting that here. So you can see that failed here. So we're right back down into the range. Okay. Now we're in this. We're testing this kind of low here at 83. So we're kind of all over the place here at the moment. Right. So anyway, I hope that helps. Looking for more clarity at these levels. For example, looking for these really big transactions that give us that clarity. Okay. And if you don't see it, then don't trade. I mean, if that's part of your plan, then it doesn't make any sense to take the risk. Okay, another question here. How do I get statistics from Bookmap to confirm what you have described visually? Well, I mean, it's just auction market theory. You can look at volume profiles as well. There's a lot of traders that are looking at volume profiles. For example, we have a low volume node here at this 82 3/4, which we're just about to test. Okay, and there we go. Now, low volume node, we want to trade back into where it can trade. So let's see if this rejects here and trades back into the range. Okay, here's our pullback already. I mean, Will, if you want to get your own statistics on this, well, I mean, you'll have to do the study. You'll have to get all of the different data together to look for that very distinct numeric advantage that you're asking for. Okay. We're just going through and understanding the overall value through channels and market profile or volume profile. I mean, it's a lot of work to do what you're asking, Will. So I don't know, what any percentages are here. How does one study that data from Bookmap? Understood. Okay. There is one thing that you could do, and that is, let's open up a new column here. Okay, just right-click in a column, insert a new column, and I have a new COB column here. And then I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to change this into time and sales. Okay, and then I'm going to click on this link here that'll separate it into a new window here. Okay, now you can export this data here in your time and sales. Okay, so it's here that you export it to a CSV file. Oh, great, you're a coder. Okay. Yes, it does. Will, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to go through that with you. How to, I mean, there's the API up here, okay? We have some automated strategies already that we've written. It's Java-based, and there's a chase, escape, and execute strategy here, okay? So it's looking for order book and balances for chase or for escape and execute. and then fill your order based on that. Okay, yeah, reach out to me or reach out to support at Bookmap or Bruce at bookmap.com, and I can follow up with you on that. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you know, especially we have like a GitHub, you know, web page. So there's a lot of information there, and then I can also send you a PDF. Okay, so yeah, you can write your own indicators as well as your own trading strategies in Bookmap. Okay, so you can use this subchart as well for writing your own indicator. You can basically do whatever you want. It's open architecture. Yeah. Okay, Nick, let's see, another question. If we trade into 82 and then we see the dominant green and versus red, well, I mean, what we're going to see first is if we trade into 82, I mean, you can see they already pulled. But if we trade into 82 and you're going to see, if this liquidity trades, you're going to see big red dot. All right. And what that means is, and we just need to be clear about what occurred here. Okay. It doesn't mean that it's going to bounce. It doesn't mean anything. What it signifies is that these sellers with high liquidity in the market, which is most likely larger players, they got what they wanted. They sold, or they bought at this area here on the bid at 82. And it also means that the sellers took them on, and the transaction occurred. Okay, and you'll see that big dot. Now, what happens after that is where we can get a lot of insight. Okay, we may even trade through this area. Okay, and then keep an eye open to see if our sellers still engaged. Maybe we'll get another retest of that area, and then you see no selling. Okay, well, if you see no selling, then down in these areas here, the sellers have exhausted out. Okay, and you'll note that price will kind of creep back up, and then buyers will jump in. Okay, and then they'll jump in and they'll lift the offer to higher areas. Okay, so that's one of the things to note. Some of the retest areas. I mean, like this area here. I mean, this has been kind of tricky, to be honest. And you can see that we broke down below the lows here, okay, and it totally rejected right back up into the middle of the range here. Okay, so all of these guys here, this is trap volume. Okay, and you can see we don't even come. It's really fascinating to see. Look at all the retests here, no selling. Okay, these guys are trapped at this below this 83 and a quarter. Now there is some sort of statistic I'll let you know, Will. I think it's above 80%. If we break a range and it rejects, there's like an 80% chance that you're going to test the other side of the range. Okay, that's not my statistic. It's I'm just relaying that I've heard from other traders. You've seen that behavior before. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes sense too. I mean, you know, this area will reject. Where's the liquidity is going to be on the other side where the stops are, right? So we'll come over and we know that there'll be buyers up here. Okay. No, it's not C#. It's Java. Oh, okay. Tested stats using C# on Ninja. Oh, Ninja is C#. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been really range bound here, and you know, I always think it can be rather tricky. Because what ends up happening, and I covered this the other day as well, we get little areas here, little pockets of ranges. The microstructure is broken, and then it fails and comes back down, and then we look to the bigger range of let's just do it this way. So here is our bigger range, right? So here we are. Okay, this breakdown here. Okay, so below the low here, trap volume, and now we're testing the higher part of this range here. Okay, so that 80% trade worked out pretty nicely. Okay, yeah. Anyway, micro ranges here, broken. This is really messy in here. This is even fitting into that. But you can see here, micro range broken, comes right back down, broken yet again here. Okay, and back up to the upside. Yeah, and then this area in here is just a mess. It's really hard to that we don't see much of anything in here. All right, well, let's zoom out and get a bigger picture here. What's going on? Okay, interesting stuff. High liquidity coming in here around this 88 level. Okay, and then around this 82, they stayed here. So we're just kind of going sideways in this big range here. Okay, here come the buyers. Now we're starting to see the buyers. Okay, so okay, just pulled up into made highs for the session here. Okay, now let's take a look at this area here. How did this auction out? Okay, we came up into look at 576 contracts up here at 89. Okay, we came up into it, and you can see that the best offer tested that area, but nothing. No, actually, 40 contracts traded up here. Yeah, so we do see some trades actually took place in here. Interesting. Okay, well, let's take a look at this breakout. How did it behave? How did it auction? That's a lot of aggressive buying, right? What about the outcome, right? Well, we're just kind of going sideways here. We've come right back down to where we broke from. Okay, how big was this breakout as well? It was a couple points, maybe 2.5 points. Okay, now aggressive buyers are stepping in again. Okay, right here. Okay, so let's see if we can come back up and test this really high liquidity at 89. Okay, so I hope that helps, Nick. So you know you can try to get in down at some of these levels, but we don't really know until we see the aggressors start to come back in. Okay. Anyway, it's in that that course. You'll see it, and here's another pullback. And come on, guys, let's see if we can get up there. Would love to see them trade into these guys here. I mean, look at how that just sticks out in the limit order book. My Lord. And look at our large lot tracker too. One individual actor has almost, over 500 contracts here at this level. So a huge player up here. Now, what if this guy pulls too? Okay. I mean, there's going to be a huge vacuum in that liquidity. How long has this guy been in the book here? Let's take a look at that. Over here, 99. Okay, so he jumped in right around here. We had around 99 or so, and then right around this area here, it jumps up from 93 on the ask here, as you can see, on that third line to 597. Okay. Okay, I mean, the buyers know they can get filled here. Okay, when we got a little bit of a pullback here, and some sellers jump right back in. Okay. Well, I mean, another scenario here that might play out is these guys up at this 89 level. The buyers don't want to take them on, right? That's a lot of contracts here in the Nasdaq. Okay, and this is where you see the battle and the other side take place right here. See how the sellers are now coming in? Well, then these guys are going to be trapped up here. Okay. Now, if that's the case and you're bearish at this point, let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's look for a pullback maybe to 87 here, maybe a little bit higher as well. Yeah, someone was asking about distribution pattern on a lower time frame. Well, this isn't a bad example. Although we do see we see more trading up here though, so that maybe this kind of negates it a little bit. But I mean, we see buying, a little exhaustion here, but some more buying, selling coming in at a lower area. We break down below some of these microstructure areas here, and we see more selling. Okay, so here's our pullback. Okay, and let's see if the sellers jump right back in here. Yeah, I mean, you can see, I mean, it's a really trappy day, but you can start to piece together as well. Like what potentially this could all be potentially trap volume as well. If that's the case, where are they going to cover? Well, most of them are probably going to cover around this 82 level down here. Okay, let's see if they start to line up down here at 82. Okay. All right. Well, this one played out pretty nicely. You can see that this kind of small distribution pattern. The sellers here returned back to where it broke from, and we found sellers. And boy, it's still not the greatest. I mean, there's not a lot of trading taking place here. Still a little more selling in this area here, pulling price back down. It's just not the best. Anyway, it is playing out in terms of finding those sellers again, just a bit more here in this area. Yeah, but it's nothing clear. Today's kind of a funny day. All right, bigger picture. Yeah, I mean, just some sideways action, and we see this breakout here, but we're right back down into this range here. Okay, and what about in this trend here? If we're going to be trending lower, well, what we need to see down here are a lot bigger market sell transactions. We want to see selling at lower lows here. And we're not seeing a lot. I mean, it still may do it, but it's just not that distinct. Okay, here they come. Here comes some more selling. But, let's go back to the open here, and we'll see the distinction here. Around 940. So we see. I mean, look at all the selling here. Zoom out just a little bit more. So this is what we're looking for in that trend, and we're looking for that clarity. More selling, lower lows. More selling, lower lows. Still more selling, more selling. We return back up to some of the selling up in this area here, and very close to the structure here. To where we broke from, and look at the buying up here. Very little. Okay, so the market can trade down here, and it does. It rotates lower, and we're getting price discovery still, maybe just a tick or two down lower here. Okay, and then now we're starting to get into some of these areas at 67 and 66, and you can still see more selling at lower lows. Okay, less buying at these lower highs. Okay, and that's what we're looking for in the current market. Okay, and look at the difference, right? I mean, we're seeing some. It's just not that distinct. All right. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. We'll call it a day. Kind of a ho hum day. Not a lot to look at today, but except for that the rhythmic feed here, understanding the unlimited order book here, and noticing where that high liquidity is in the markets, and how the market behaves accordingly to it. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. Have a good day, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.